Been covering the NBA since the early 90s. Fox Sports NBA analyst Ric Bucher. A lot of stuff going on now. Joining us live in the Bay Area. All right, Harden, Westbrook, Houston, both want out. Brooklyn, KD, Kyrie want Harden. Let's just talk about Houston. What do you do? Yeah. Both your stars want out. I own the team. Let's say, what do you do in Houston?
Accept the gift that has been given you and blow it up. They had proved that they were not good enough to win a championship. They needed to reset. Daryl Morey leaves and the cupboard is bare in terms of assets and trying to improve. And now you don't even have to carry the burden of saying that we're going to get rid of our stars and we're going to start over. Keep in mind, Houston is not like Cleveland or some of the other markets where you would be concerned about tearing it down and starting over. Free agents will come to Houston. And so get the assets. And now you don't even have the burden of the superstars complaining that you moved on from them. They've asked to move on. And they've even asked to move over to the Eastern Conference. You couldn't get it any better than this.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Like, start over, get as many assets and picks as you can. So the NBA draft is tonight. It's interesting. I was saying earlier, Michael Jordan likes LaMelo Ball, who's the opposite of Michael Jordan. He's distracted. He's into social media. Yes. He's not a physical player. I mean, he doesn't have that kind of Michael alpha attack. He's kind of the opposite of that. Why would he be interested in LaMelo Ball?
So there are two things working here. Number one, and I've been trying to figure this out, because Michael Jordan, as we know, and as we were reminded by The Last Dance, it's all about winning, and it's all about competition. So how could Michael Jordan preside over a Charlotte Hornets team that has been none of those things for the most part since he has owned them? And I was told it's because Michael is competing in a different arena now. For Michael, it is all about, how can I become the most powerful and wealthiest NBA owner? And while he came in not anywhere close to that, he certainly made strides. But if you look at everything that he's done with the Charlotte Hornets, and you look at it through the prism of, how do I maximize this monetarily? It all makes sense. And LaMelo Ball, of all of the players in this draft, is the one guy that you could look at and say, you know what? He's going to attract attention. He's going to attract corporate sponsors. He's going to sell tickets. So it fits perfectly with the Michael Jordan current model. I would say the other part is that Michael has learned, you know what? I need to get the guy who has the talent, and I can infuse the attitude. I can teach them how to be. There are no other Michael Jordans. There's Michael Jordan, the owner, doesn't believe there's going to be another Michael Jordan, the player. But I can infuse him with some of what I have. So let me go and get the best talent and the guy who sells the most tickets, and then I'll add the rest.
A lot of times in the NBA, star-driven league, trades get talked about as being impactful, and I kind of roll my eyes at them. And then there's occasionally the trade that nobody talks about. It doesn't get a lot of play, and I can't believe how good it is. Dennis Schröder to the Lakers, I saw it and thought, that's all they gave up?
Yes.
I thought to myself, if they won last year, they get Avery Bradley and Schroder. This is a much bigger deal than is being given press, right?
100%. This is look, they're my prohibitive favorite to repeat, largely based on this trade. You've added not just another quality player, but a guy who is what we call a dog in the NBA. Dennis Schröder is fearless, and he is a fierce competitor. And while he's listed as a point guard, he plays much bigger than that. So you've just added that to the equation of LeBron James, the other pieces that they have, the growth that they've gotten from winning a championship. Number one being on that list, Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis now understands what it's like to play in big games and to win big games. You add Dennis Schröder to that equation. It was a home run, and they gave up virtually nothing. I'm actually surprised that the Thunder accepted it, because I would think that Schroeder would have had more market value than this.
So the NBA draft is tonight. It's a lot of it's just you guess because you're drafting kids. I mean, they got 1 year of college or no college. So a lot of it is for years and years, David Stern, the late David Stern, didn't want his general managers going to high school games and scouts, right? So he said, you got to go to college for at least a year. Well, it's like, especially this year. I mean, like, who is anybody? I have no idea. What do you make at tonight's draft?
There are forget no franchise players. There are no sure things, which is why all of the top picks are readily available. All the GMs in the league right now, especially the ones up top with the top picks, are a little bit like the guy who goes to the carnival. And you go to that booth where you gotta hit a target. And the guy running the booth says, I'll give you one shot and you can get that really big prize over there. Or I'll give you 3 shots and you can get one of these smaller prizes over here. The GMs are all looking at it going, I'll take the 3 shots at the smaller prize because all I want to do right now is walk away with a prize for my girlfriend, i.e. my owner. And the chances that I'm going to land a really big prize with 1 shot is not very good. Look, there's going to be a Devin Booker or a Damian Lillard in this draft. There's going to be a guy who isn't necessarily an all-star right away, but eventually becomes an all-star and a guy that you look at and go, you know what? He's a franchise cornerstone. I can build around him. But nobody knows who that is right now. So the GMs there's going to be a lot of GMs that end up looking very bad, and they'd rather move down and take multiple picks where the heat is not on, as opposed to having one of the top picks, and then you have a Booker or a Lillard that goes 6 or 7, and the owners and everybody in the media looks at the GMs that didn't pick that guy and go, what were you thinking?
Yeah. By the way, I've always thought Kevin Durant's a better leader than people give him credit for. If I was Kevin Durant, I'd say, get me James Harden. I'll trade everybody. We don't need a big. I don't need Kyrie. Does KD have it in him? Because, by the way, that's really the key here. LeBron would move people in a second. LeBron has. Yeah. That's why LeBron's LeBron. Does KD have it in him, a minute left, to say to the owner, listen, just get Harden. I couldn't give a rip about anything else. Just get Harden. Let's do a reboot before we've even played.
I feel like he does. So, I mean, ultimately, I feel there's plenty of people, and I'm not one of them, that consider KD, have called KD a snake. If he were to do this, he would be the king cobra. Because basically, he and Kyrie talked for months about joining forces in Brooklyn. And to turn around and then throw Kyrie into the equation in order to get his old running buddy, James Harden. It would be one of those deals where KD would have to call up Kyrie and go, look, it's not personal. It's just business. Do I think he has it in him? Honestly, I think he just might.
Yeah, so do I. And I know it sounds
And I wouldn't blame him.
Oh, God, no. If I can have James Harden, absolutely. Harden and KD, Eastern Conference Finals, you can figure out it's like LeBron and AD. Figure out the rest. Just give me those two and figure it out.
Certainly better than Kyrie, KD, and James. This is not Harden, Westbrook, KD, circa OKC 2.0. They're a completely different place. But that said, yes, I would much rather go Harden, KD than go KD, Kyrie.
Good stuff. Ric Bucher, Fox Sports. Good seeing you, buddy. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.